What's up, freaks? This is just me, and today we're gonna be exploring the best physique of Victor Martinez's entire bodybuilding career. The Dominican Dominator started his professional career in 2001 and then competed all the way up to 2020, if you can believe that, because that's a very impressive track record, I gotta say. That all being said, in this video we're only gonna be considering the years 2006 to 2013. Before that he was still improving and getting muscle maturity, and after 2013 it's not that he was bad, but he just wasn't as good as his previous self. He definitely held on to all his muscle well, but father time catches up to everyone eventually. First, take a look at some honorable mentions. Left to right, respectively, is the 06 Olympia version, which is a competition where Victor placed third after Jay and Ronnie and looked pretty good. 2006 was a great year for Victor overall. In the middle is the 2011 Arnold Classic, which was a show when he was third to Branch and Dennis Wolf, and in this context he looks incredible. It was basically his prime if we don't count the midsection and the flow of the physique. Otherwise, nothing was missing from his physique. And on the right is the 2013 New York Pro, where Victor was runner-up to Big Ramy, and he looked similar to 2011. He looked great from the back and very conditioned too, but his abs were protruding a tad bit, which threw off his flow. Have a look at the front doubles displayed here. 2013 stands out due to this awesome X-frame and amazing vacuum, but you're gonna see later Vic's midsection wasn't the same as in 06 on the left. At the 06 Olympia he looks great as well. The quads and arms look supreme. 2011 honestly nothing special here, but let's go to the lat spread. Here 06 and 2011 look great, lower body and upper body, a good pose. 2013 has a very impressive Christmas tree, but the same can be said about the rest, which just doesn't have much flow. And here's the last comparison in the side triceps, where the angle's not very favoring to the 2013 version, but still you can see the midsection is not really what you would call sucked in. Honestly, it's protruding, but that's even happening in 06. The triceps and lower body look awesome in 2011. These are all amazing versions of the Dominican Dominator Victor Martinez, in my opinion, but there are three more, and these are going to be compared in the main comparison to determine Victor's best shape ever, ultimately. This is going to be from left to right. The 2006 Arnold Classic. Here Victor was beaten by Dexter and Branch, but he still looked phenomenal. He was diced and aesthetic too. The year 2006 was on par with 2007 and certainly belongs into this comparison, even though it might not be as iconic as his 2007 versions. Then we have in the middle the 2007 Arnold Classic, so the next year Arnold Classic, and here he actually won, meaning he beat Dexter and Branch Warren unlike the year before. He looked awesome, brought it everything, the size, cuts, and also aesthetic appeal. And on the right side we have an absolute no-brainer, the 2007 Olympia version of Victor, largely regarded as his best ever. Most people are gonna point you to this version right away without even thinking about it, really, because this is the Olympia when Victor took runner-up, beating Dexter Jackson once again, but Victor should more than probably have also beaten out Jay Cutler and became Mr. Olympia in 07. But how many people have actually analyzed this version for themselves and compared it to other versions of Victor Martinez? I don't think that many, so that's exactly what we're gonna do in this video. It's definitely possible that the 06 and 07 Arnold shapes can beat the 07 Olympia version. Now let's stop rambling and judge the first pose, the front double biceps. Let's look at the wheels first. They are more than likely the least impressive in the 07 Arnold in the middle. In the arm department, it's also inferior, so 07 Arnold gets last place and 3 points. Then I have in runner-up the 06 Arnold, where he's probably overall a bit smoother than in the 07 Olympia on the right, even ignoring the differences in photo quality. 07 Olympia looks better through the midsection too because he's flexing his abs, which obviously makes them look better. 07 Olympia receives 1 point here in the front double biceps. He really looked incredible that year in this pose, and every year on that note because he's so wide through the lats and so aesthetic too. But we're moving on to the front lat spread. Not as much of a great pose. And I gotta say, in the 07 Olympia, he doesn't look that good. He looks kind of scrunched. The midsection is not as tight, and even the quads ain't looking that great here. He doesn't flow whatsoever, so it might be a bad photo. He honestly looks like he might not be fully in the pose. But what am I supposed to do? I'm judging it as it is here in the pictures, and I see the Olympia in third place. Between the two Arnold Classic versions, ignore the 06 version's calves. I had to edit them to the picture. It's probably wrong, but doesn't matter really. The quads much better in 06. I don't know what happened to them in the 07 Arnold. They look like they lost all their shape and the sweep. I don't know. Anyway, I would love to look at the lats, but the background in 06 doesn't really allow me to. It's basically swallowing them. So I'm going with 07 in second place because along with his quads, the midsection is also not really as good as it was a year prior. 06 fetches 1 point here because it's actually a good pose that year. Turn to the side and display your pec development, Victor, please. Thank you very much. Here the lower body, I was trying to put in these legs from different pictures, but we can't really tell much from it, so I'm just gonna ignore it as well. I think the 07 Arnold Classic is much less conditioned. The quads are not edited in. It's the original picture of the upper side of the leg, and the lower body is really sharp, but the upper body is very smooth in comparison. It looks sort of weird. You're not seeing the details in the arm or the separation in the abs. So 07 Arnold gets last. Second place is going to 06 Arnold because it's softer than the 07 Olympia, I would say. Might not look like that from the pictures, but these are different qualities again, and I do appreciate the Olympia slightly more. Plus the pec display is not the same either, but still I'd wager to say slightly more striations and also thicker pecs in 07 the Olympia. Gets the 1 pointer in my video as I see it, and the 06 year version is second. Back development in the rear double, and the 2007 Arnold Classic version, in my opinion, falling last again. What is this? That's too bad. The Christmas tree is not as visible, the back is not as dried out, and the glutes are not as shredded. Has to fall last and get another 3-pointer. Now between the 06 Arnold and 07 Olympia again, the Arnold on the left is winning in the lats, I think, and in the hamstrings, and possibly the glutes too. However, the arms and also the shoulders are better for 07. I think this is very close in this pose between the two of these. I'm going with 07 for the win. It's slightly inconclusive though. Real last spread, maybe it's gonna be easier to judge. And here, this is puzzling to me, I must admit. Here it looks like the tables basically turn around completely. The 06 Arnold here looks the least impressive because although don't get it twisted, Victor's back development is not bad, but the posing technique isn't really favoring him. His lats, although looking to insert very low, are not as impressive. He isn't displaying as much detail, and that's the case in the upper body and maybe also the lower body. I have to award 06 3 points. He's missing the muscle maturity. And between the 07 versions, not by a mile, but I have the Arnold, the middle one, winning because it's shredded and has better calves, lower back, and it's very balanced in both overall. So 1 point goes to the 07 Arnold, 2 points to the Olympia. Side triceps pose. And this is a bit surprising to me, but the 07 Olympia has a way smaller tricep. I believe I sized it correctly, and it's just a smaller horseshoe. Still awesome, but quite petite in comparison. I will of course check out the rest of the body, but apart from the different posture and angles, it looks to be basically the same. I have to unfortunately award the Olympia 3 points because of the tricep, as I already mentioned. I have 06 in second place position because the horseshoe triceps seem larger than the Olympia, yes. But on the other hand, it's not enough to beat the 07 Arnold, as I see it. He's more cut overall, especially in the side leg, which is shredded and very defined in the 07 Arnold, so the victory goes to this version. Now the ab and thigh. The 2007 Olympia versions, I gotta say, definitely looks more soft, and when you break it up, quads not as good as the other versions, and the same goes for the waistline. The abs and lats still look respectable though. Then if we look at the two on the left side of the screen, which are gonna be battling it out for the win in this shot, in my opinion, it could go either way, and I think 2006 possesses maybe the superior body parts, but I appreciate the feathering in the quads of the 07 Arnold Classic too, and I find the midsection a bit more pleasing to the eye as well. The V-taper doesn't look too great, but that's mainly due to the tilt he's doing. So I'm giving the Avantai to the one in the middle, the Arnold Classic 2007. It has a great flow. This is the most muscular. One hand on hip or quad, I guess, whatever. The picture is the worst quality for the 07 Arnold in the middle, but still, in my opinion, the worst, most muscular out of these three. It looks more narrow and much smoother than the others. Again, last place. It's much closer between the 06 Arnold and 07 Olympia. On the left, we can see an awesome pose for certain, but the waistline, abs, delts, and pecs look more impressive in the Olympia, which fetches another 1 point here. Taking into consideration this is probably a filtered image, he still looks better, as I see it, than in 06. So this was the last pose, and in the end, this ended up being quite a close matchup between these three versions, definitely closer than I expected at the start. We have a third place finisher with only 17 points, so that's not a lot. As I said, it was very close. And this third place finisher is the 07 Arnold Classic. Still a good one. It won a few poses, but it also lost a few. Overall, it didn't seem as dominant as any of the others. That's probably what I would sum it up to, why it lost. It's kind of puzzling to me because in some poses it looked to be in great condition, but in some it looked to be pretty smooth. I don't know. Anyway, we have a runner-up in the 2006 Arnold Classic. I think it's a great version from more of the start of his career. Kind of young and fresh, nice flow for certain, balance in every shot. The score sheet reflects that because he actually only won one pose, only one, but he also only lost one pose. so he was second in the majority of them. And he had size conditioning, not too bad either in these departments. But this version, the 06 Arnold, gets 16 points. That's one less than third place did. And the 2007 Olympia only got 15 points. And it's our winner for today. It's easily by far the most iconic and famous version of Victor Martinez. He had an awesome midsection, quads, arms, lats, he had everything. He was so complete. He also had the size, along with the aesthetics. He really was screwed that year, and he's an uncrowned Mr. Olympia. I mean, just appreciate the sheer impressiveness of this physique. Definitely not a surprising outcome, deserved victory. That being said, it was closer than I think most people would expect. So don't just always talk about this one version of Victor. He's got more great versions for sure. For example, the 06 Arnold, which is awesome in this comparison. So, do please guys let me know down in the comment section below what you think about the video, and also, is the 07 Olympia Vic's best version we've ever witnessed? Let us know your opinion. Feel free to do that. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to watch some Victor Martinez videos, and also like and subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your day.